welcome to this new episode of the Alex Show TV. This is episode 362 from October the 7th of the year 2024. Today is a Monday, and this is my third and final episode from my Sedona trip. These are my feelings of my experience with the Sedona UFO tour with Melinda Leslie. As I shared on the episode on my trip to Sedona, I shared there a video of what you are able to see out there on these UFO tours with night goggles. You certainly are gonna see something, but I wanna share the whole experience. First of all, it's very easy to book. It's very easy to find these UFO tours. My suggestions, if you are there in Sedona, is to go to the New Age Center, and there you're gonna very easily, with credit card or cash, whatever way you want, you can book your tour even for the same day if there's space. The tours are usually, from what I heard from Melinda, there are 8 to 10 people maximum. Also, the thing is, there's a limitation on the night goggles. These are very expensive equipment. They go for $3,000-$4,000 each. So it's very difficult to have a very vast inventory of night goggles. So that's why it's limited to around 8 to 10 people. You shouldn't have a problem. My suggestion, if you're a large group, is to book in advance to find the New Age Center. By the way, I'm going to include a link out there in the video description so you can easily book this tour. I have no affiliation to them. I'm not gaining anything. It's just a reference if it helps you. But if you have a large group, book in advance, then you shouldn't have any issues, okay? Because if you are only in Sedona for 2-3 days, you might have the problem there's no space to do the tour. The tour starts at night, around 6:30 to 7 p.m. You need to have your own transportation, so if you don't have a car, try to find a way to at least maybe get there early and see if you can negotiate something with the other members of the tour. You can join them in their car. You need to have your own transportation. You go to a field outside Sedona. It's not very far away. If I recall properly, 20 to 25 minutes from the New Age Center. And once there, Melinda will start with, she will share her stories on this tour, on the previous experiences. I'm not going to go into details of what she shared because I think it's privileged information from the ones that takes the tour. But something I think it's normal I can share, I think it's probably public information, is you don't see structural crafts as the one you're seeing on your screen right now, triangle UFO, on all tours, okay? That's pretty expectable. I was kind of expecting that. Really, you will see structured crafts on every tour. The tour will be much more expensive and exclusive, to be honest. The tour is $90 for each adult. And she shares that you see structured crafts in 2-3% of the occasions, okay? But what you do see is what I'm going to share, which I already shared on the main Sedona episode that I had a week ago, what you see with night goggles. So let's watch it together, and I'll continue to give you my thoughts on the Sedona UFO tour with Melinda Leslie. As I shared 1 week ago, this video doesn't have any audio. This video doesn't make justice to what you see with your own eyes. I think it's far more exciting and amazing when you see it live. This is the kind of thing that cannot be captured on video. I mean, the excitement to watch this. If you think that you're watching airplanes, helicopters, Melinda does a great job of explaining that terrestrial or human-based vehicles have blinking lights. That's a regulation, FAA regulation. It's very difficult. They're going to violate that. So yes, you do see some man-made, some terrestrial vehicles out there, especially helicopters. I think especially military helicopters. But you also see some things you cannot explain. Okay, trust me, I saw it with my own eyes. Trust me on that. You do see some amazing stuff. Even if you're the normal trip, 98% of the trips don't see structured crafts. That would be amazing, to be honest. That would be something else. But believe me, through the night goggles, which increase light by 20,000 times, you are able to see some pretty amazing stuff. Basically, what we just saw on the screen is very similar, but as I said, it doesn't make justice to what you see out there with your own eyes. So Melinda Leslie, she's an ufologist. She's pretty well known. Again, I'm going to include the link for the booking of the Sedona UFO tour on the video description, but you can also find more about her and the Sedona New Age store on, of course, SedonaNewAgeStore.com, okay? Let's watch a short video on Melinda, on her experience. She was what is called an abductee. She was abducted. She has a pretty amazing story that she shares when you're out there in the field before she goes into the night goggle explanation and how you use them and what you're going to see and all that. I think this 5-minute video explains her story very well. Let's watch it together.
I have been a UFO researcher investigator since 1989, and I am an abductee, an experiencer, someone who's had direct contact with extraterrestrial beings. What got me involved in UFO research investigation started with a trip out to Area 51 in the Nevada desert in 1989. I had taken 3 trips out to Area 51, had amazing sightings every time. I had all these paradigm changes. First off, UFOs absolutely existed. Secondly, they defied physics as I understood it. And third, that the government knew about it and was involved. But I also started to have memories come forward. So I always had this memory of these kids coming to the bedroom window and I going out to play. Well, suddenly I'm having a dream at night after having all these sightings of remembering that whole experience, but it wasn't little kids at the bedroom window, it was gray aliens. And that, yes, the adult was knocked out or something, was asleep, and I went out with the ETs. So I had an abduction. And then another experience when I was 12 years old, also staying out in Yucca Valley, staying at the little Yucca Inn motel. And I remember I kept going and drinking water, and I wasn't feeling good. But I remember everyone came back and I said, "Oh, what, you decide not to have your picnic?" And they said, "Melinda, we've been gone like 5 or 6 hours." Again, a dream at night, remembering that whole event, them going on the picnic, my staying, not feeling well, my going for the walk, but I walked up and over this little hill down to where this dry riverbed was, and that there was a landed UFO, a craft, and I had an abduction, was taken on board. They took like a little skin sample from my leg, and I always had this small scar area on my leg that I believe I got during that experience. I go from having these dreams to suddenly having current time experiences. For instance, I had a roommate at the time. We talked till like midnight. I said, "I got to go to bed right now. I'm only going to get 6.5 hours of sleep if I fall asleep immediately." I reached to turn off the light, checking the alarm one more time, and it was 2.5 hours later. And there's no way I was sitting on my bed for 2.5 hours. And my roommate, she said, "I knocked on your door." No answer. I knocked again. No answer. She said, "I opened your door, went in your room, you weren't there." Suddenly there's like a flash of light in the hallway. She looks expecting to see me, but instead of seeing me, she sees a gray alien standing in the doorway of her room. Now she was sitting in bed reading, fully conscious, sees a gray. After seeing the gray standing in her door, it just walked through my closed door as if it wasn't there. A year later, myself and 2 male friends were driving over a mountain highway, and the 3 of us got taken together from the car. We had an abduction together. Their names were Steve and Mike, and I got taken with them. And I said, "Mike, why are you stopping the car?" He says, "I'm not, that is." He points, and there's a gray alien in the road. And Mike's like, doesn't even have his hands on the steering wheel. He goes, "I'm not doing it, that is." And the gray was bringing the car to a stop, however. They do this thing that's known in abduction. It's called mind stare, where they look in your eyes. And they touch his forehead, look in his eyes, and he kind of slumps over, like they kind of knock him out. Often you're like beamed up. In most of my abductions, there's like a blue beam of light, and you're lifted up or floated. In this particular incident, like the one in the desert when I was young, there was one landed that I walked up on. Well, this is the second time where something like that had happened. As far as we remember, the craft was either kind of landed in the road or just hovering off the side. We were on a mountain road, so there was a steep hill to our right and a 2,000-foot drop-off to our left. So it was kind of either just hovering or partially on the road, and it had a ramp coming down. The beings around each of us walked us up that ramp onto the craft. We were undressed. Mike, they proceeded to go to take sperm from him, and literally like a month before this event, he had a vasectomy. So they were exploring his vasectomy, questioning him about it. They took ovum from me, eggs from me. Our clothes were in piles on the floor, and they instructed us to get dressed on our own. Being walked out the craft, put back in the car, but when they put us in the car, they immobilized us, and they moved us into position like moving mannequins, had the electronics in the hands of the guys and everything, and the car started up. Mike, the car goes back onto the road, and that's when we notice all the electronics going haywire. I can say unequivocally, UFOs are here, there's an extraterrestrial presence, the beings are here. If those beings are starting to interbreed with the rest of us, if they're coming here and living amongst us, that's going to create a sea change. And I believe that throughout human history that they've done this, that they've come back, affected the development of humans on this planet, and affected our growth in consciousness, and that what we call modern day abductions is just the current phase of that. And that's what the creation of the hybrids is, and more and more abductees are finding that their hybrid children are living amongst us. And so that seems to be on the increase. That is what it's all about.
Okay, as you can tell from the video, those are pretty amazing stories, experiences. I don't want to call them stories, experiences. And as when I have a show on UFO, when I have a show in spirituality, when I have a show that is based on experience, when certainly there's not proof by mainstream standards, I always say you can elect to believe it or not. That's certainly you're right. But what you cannot do is tell others what they have experienced, okay? I mean, you can if you want. I'm just trying to say it's not going to work, okay? Because it has happened to me, as I have my own experiences, very different from the ones that Melinda has had. My experiences have been more on a different realm. But I've had people directly, guests on the show, even especially on the Spanish channel, El Show de Alex.tv, telling me, no, you had a mental experience, you had an astral travel, you had whatever, an hallucination, something like that. And out of respect, I don't say anything, but what I say is, how do you know? How do we know what Melinda experienced? We don't. We can elect to believe her or not, and I actually do believe her, but that's a personal decision. But to tell others that what they say is basically nonsense, or they didn't experience that, it's something made up in their mind, it's like a dream, that I don't think is valid, with all due respect. This phenomena is, the experience that Melinda had is something relatively common, I think, especially from one species, the Greys, that even Bashar has shared, but you have to go and see it in other videos that Bashar has shared, that maybe this experimentation, this genetic experimentation, this kind of breeding with humans has a purpose, because they needed that so they could continue going on. I've heard so many things about the Greys, not good or bad. I'm not saying it in that realm, in that sense. I'm saying it that I heard that they actually did perish as a species, but they were able to transcend, which I don't find that something that you do, okay, as a species, but they were able to transcend as robots, as androids, okay? They created kind of a clone of themselves, totally artificial, because they knew as a species they had destroyed themselves, their planet, which some say is a different dimension of Earth, which can happen. That's certainly a possibility that there are several dimensions going on Earth at the same time or in different times. And so another school of thought is actually Greys came to this dimension, got their DNA, and that's why the abductions. And so that's why they have, I'm saying this with the utmost respect for all abductees, this kind of sexual implication that there's interbreeding with these beings, or there's extraction of, as I believe, if I heard correctly, Melinda saying X, or, female, you know what I'm trying to say, the female component that creates life, breathing. I'm forgetting the word, I'm sorry about that, but you know what I'm trying to say. And also sperm from males, of course. But there are also many stories that there is just basically interbreeding. They go about it in a simpler way, that they basically breed with humans to create offspring, and that offspring, that those hybrids, as they're referred to, they were able to keep going this species called the greys, and for them to evolve. Okay, all of this very, very deep stuff, of course. So final recommendation, final thoughts here. If you're out there in Sedona, you're planning a trip to Sedona, go and look for the New Age Center. Again, I'm gonna make it very easy for you. Just go to the video description and click on how to book the Sedona UFO tour with Melinda Leslie. I experienced it, and I can tell you it's worth it. $90 per adult, certainly worth it. It's around 3 to 4 hours. Everything. The field you go out there is beautiful. The night sky, the stories from Melinda Leslie. She shares around 1 to 2 hours. Then the watching with the night vision goggles. Everything certainly worth it. I will think it's like a must if you go out there. But if you're only there for a couple of nights, my suggestion is book in advance, because there are not large groups, which is a good thing because it's a great environment. In my group, we were like 10 people, I believe. So if it was larger than that, it's a little bit difficult to handle. I think 8 to 10 is perfect. So basically, I have nothing more to say. I'm very happy with what I saw. Of course, I'm still keeping hope. I'm able to see. I've never seen it in my life, in this life, let me clarify. In this life, I've never seen a structured craft as you see it in the screen. But I think I felt something that I did see. I did see something out from this earth, certainly through night vision goggles. All right. So I hope you enjoy it. Have any questions, as always, send me an email, hey@thealexshow.tv. And if it's okay, I should see you back on Friday. I'm actually going to keep the UFO thing going. And I'm going to do something that for some reason in 362 episodes I haven't talked about much, which is the Roswell incident, the Roswell 1947 UFO incident. And you're going to be a little bit surprised with my feelings on that one. Have a great week. See you on Friday. Thank you for making it to this part of the video. This is my favorite part. This is where I suggest to you that you discover your true self. You are not what you have been groomed to believe. You are this incredible being without limits that has eternal life, amazing strength, infinite wisdom, and a big, beautiful heart. All your limits are always self-imposed. Your best version in this reality is inside you. Your only mission on this life is to become a beacon of love and to serve others. This version is ready to be discovered today. How do you discover your true self? The discovery process is a personal one. No one can do it for you. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to talk to the universe. Simply ask, who am I? Where do I come from? What is my purpose? You will start getting signs, breadcrumbs, and signals. You will notice how your notions about this reality start disappearing. No more hierarchies, no more competition, no more complaining, no more depending on others. Discovering your true self equals to real freedom. Your self-imposed limits will fall and you will be ready to understand this reality, but you must be patient to allow others to wake up at their time through their own free will. That will be really soon, you will see, and that will set up a new world. As you work towards your best version, you will notice how all emotions don't serve you anymore. Hate, fear, rage, pride, lust, envy, violence, justice through violence, judgment of others, and other emotions will disappear from your mind and heart. You will understand those emotions serve only your egoic mind and are not you. Please try to be understanding of others that don't think or feel like you. Everyone has a process. No one is right or wrong. We're all just different. Don't be concerned about being right, ever. Don't allow pride preventing you from patching things up with family and friends. It is very important you enjoy this life with your loved ones. Put in the work to patch things up and leave it to others to decide. Thank you very much for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe. If you have any comments or suggestions, please use the comment section below. For private questions, conversations, and if you would like to appear on the show, please email me at hey@thealexshow.tv. Thank you again. Please don't forget to visit our website, www.thealexshow.tv. By giving me your time, you honor me. Have a very, very, very nice day.